Unleash the power of knowledge and connect with the heartbeat of the African diaspora. Download our African Diaspora News Channel app now on Google Play and Apple App Store. Stay informed with authentic and diverse perspectives, breaking news, and cultural insights. Immerse yourself in a community that celebrates unity, resilience, and progress. Experience the vibrancy of the diaspora at your fingertips. Don't miss out. Empower your perspective today. Search African Diaspora News Channel and join the conversation.
Mauled to death by her white employer's dogs. This is a gruesome story about a domestic worker who was killed by her employer's dogs. Hello, my name is Reneilwe Morema and I am your host right here on the African Diaspora News Channel, reporting live from Johannesburg, South Africa. The woman you see on this picture is Zulu. She was the domestic worker. She was killed on the 2nd of March at her employer's premises where she worked for 14 years. Her lifeless body was found by her employers and they notified her family 3 days after the death. For nearly 3 days, her son searched for her, calling her phone repeatedly to no avail. He said the family was not aware her body was in a government mortuary as they had not been notified of her death by her employer. The part that makes me mad is that for 14 years, this woman has been working for you, and not once did you train your dogs to familiarize themselves with her. Also, for 14 years, you're telling me that you didn't have her next of kin's contact details, which is mandatory to have them in the first place. It is an obvious employer-employee standard law. And what makes this case so sinister is the fact that you've hid the body, came up with some sort of plan to hide her in the government mortuary, and then ignored her son when he called to look for her.
Disgruntled community members are up in arms, seeking clarity about the death of Elizabeth Mngomezulu. Mngomezulu met her demise in the premises of her employers. The family alleges that there were disputes between Mngomezulu and her employers before the incident regarding outstanding salary payment which was due to her. Furthermore, the family says they learned of Mngomezulu's death 3 days after the incident.
She was going to work and I tried to call her from that day up until Sunday. Yes. The phone was not answered. Yes, but it was ringing. No one was picking up the phone. So on Monday, I received a call around 1 o'clock that my mom, she passed away. On Saturday, 5 o'clock, she was back by the dogs where she was working. And she passed away on that place.
Community members expressed disappointment in the manner in which the case is handled. They accused the police of incompetency when dealing with the case.
No matter what circumstances are, those who did this, justice must prevail. And those investigators of the police who went to that house, it's time that they must be investigated first to tell the truth of what happened. If they were bribed, that's their own issue. Baba Dlimali umlungu simfuna jail.
Mpumalanga police say they are attending to the matter.
We understand the family is going through traumatic experience of what has happened. However, we can assure them that we are doing our best to make sure that the investigation is done. With regard to forensic reports, we got information as the police that it has been completed. However, we are awaiting the report to be brought to us, and we are going to inform the family once we get that report.
SABC's efforts to get a comment from Mngomezulu's employers were unsuccessful as calls were dropped and messages left unanswered.
As a human being, how do you even live with yourself? How do you live with a dead body in your house for 3 days before transporting it to the government mortuary? What was the reason for you not to inform her family? What were you hiding? The son told SABC News that his mother and her employers had a dispute over unpaid salaries. Was that the motive for her death? Set the dogs on her and pretend you were not in the vicinity? It still doesn't make sense how she worked for you for 14 years and the dogs still don't know who she is. When asked why they didn't report the death to her family, they said that the police told them not to say anything. Since when can the police tell people what and what not to say? Are they lawyers? Number two, it seems like they were trying to protect themselves. But protect themselves from what? Why would they be in trouble for an accidental death unless it was premeditated? You know, there's a trend in South Africa, and I've seen this play out live, and I've also fell victim to it. There's a trend amongst the South African police service where they undermine cases of lower class citizens. Most cases go unsolved because police would arrive on the scene, investigate, find something incriminating, then manipulate or strike a deal with the perpetrators to take bribes. Then they would file a fake report, not include all evidence found on the scene, complicate the matter to the point where it is dragged out in court. We saw with the Senzo Mayuo case, it is a circus right now. People that were on the scene never took the stand. People that were not on the scene are questioned with no real answers that match the crime scene. Missing docket files, police even went as far as clean the crime scene and omitted some evidence. All because money is more important than justice. Lower class citizens do not deserve closure. The people that are meant to protect us are the ones causing more harm than good. So we are not meant to get closure, guys. We are not meant to be protected. But yet they call themselves the protectors of the country. For further investigation, I read an article by the Times Live. The article was very shocking to say the least. I was shocked about how insensitive and tone-deaf and borderline victim-blaming it was. And I was like, who would write such an article at a time like this? And I saw who it was and I'm like, yeah, it's true. It makes sense. I mean, look at this. They interviewed the son of Trifina, the domestic worker, and the son kept emphasizing that the CCTV footage that shows Trifina being mauled to death by the dogs has disappeared. So there is no tape that accounts for the time leading up to the event. The employers say there was load shedding, the cameras were off, they do not have the tape for that incident. They only have the tape of her beating the dogs with a pipe. I guess it was her trying to fight back or defend herself. And of course, the article doesn't speak on anything about the employers not notifying the family for such a long period of time. Instead, they covered for the family. They protect them, saying we cannot speak about them nor show their faces because their child, the employer's child, witnessed the incident and the child might be a witness in the case. So we have to protect the child under the POPIA Act. By protecting the child, we are protecting the family. And that part I understand. I totally get it. But what gets to me is that this article, after writing a few sentences about the murder of this innocent woman, writes a long article defending the dog's behavior, saying how amazing this breed is, how amazing they are, how loyal they are when they are trained. So I guess they forgot to train the dog to familiarize themselves with their domestic worker, since they are so loyal. They even got a dog expert to speak on this amazing breed. This article went to great lengths to exonerate the dog's behavior. Towards the end of the article, they sympathized with the dogs. Listen, I love dogs. Dogs are great. People love dogs. They're perfect. They're good. But to put that on the same article where you're talking about a woman that was viciously murdered by these dogs, and your concern is to make sure that you paint the dogs in a beautiful light, it's pure evil. I'm appalled. Hey guys, look at this. These dogs are great. They are amazing. They wouldn't just attack. She must have done something to them. She must have been the problem. Like, how evil can you people get? Oh, and get this. The article also does push the narrative that this is not about race and anything. It means you knew deep down when you wrote this article, people are going to perceive it that way. And you knew you were basing your article on race. I mean, with the history South Africa has, and especially with dogs and white people, it is kind of like a trigger. It is a trigger to the black community. A lot of black people during apartheid were brutally wounded by these police dogs. They were used to instill fear. These police dogs were used to instill fear and put order in the black communities. And then you want us to erase the race factor after a black domestic worker was killed by her white employer's dog? Come on, be serious, please. According to a labor lawyer, Natim Kize, he says the dog's owner are liable for the behaviors of their animals, and that the victim's family can pursue a civil case where they can sue for damages such as pain and suffering, loss of support, especially if Trifina Mngomezulu was the breadwinner. The family is also entitled to open a separate criminal case of negligence against the dog owners. What do you think about this situation? If you're in the family's shoes, how would you have retaliated? Comment to us your thoughts and views in the comment section below. Like and share the broadcast. Don't forget to subscribe and hit that notification bell so you don't miss these groundbreaking conversations right here on the African Diaspora News channel. My name is Reneilwe Morema. It has been an absolute pleasure.